but nor does the legislature. That overwhelmingly did the right thing and recognized the talent that's long been recognized by members of Rob's family. It's an honor to be here, and thank you all to family and friends of the next Attorney General of the great state of California, which is a big deal. This is a big deal. And I told him to be nice to me, not just everyone else. The power he wields, you got to watch your back with attorney generals. But I told him what I always told him from day one, you don't have to worry about me, just do the right thing. And I mean that. And the good news is the reason I can say that with clarity and conviction is we all know his values. We know his default. We know who he's looking out for. And, you know, he doesn't just say who he's fighting for. He's done it. He's been doing it his entire life. And those are values that were instilled in him as a young man. You know, we talk about people, you know, learning at the feet of Cesar Chavez. Few people actually were at the feet of Cesar Chavez. And we have photographic evidence to prove that with Rob and learning those values of not only fighting a good fight, but getting things done. Because at the end of the day, it's about getting things done. We could talk about the way the world should be, but you got to be a practitioner. You got to make it so. And that's tough. That's stubborn. It takes grit. It takes determination. Sometimes there's setbacks. Sometimes you don't always meet expectations. People can be frustrated. That dialectic is alive and well in this country, and it's been a big part of Rob Bonta's life and his advocacy. Local government, working in my old city, San Francisco, and doing good work for close to a decade. And I said it at the time, I really believe it. I wasn't just saying it flippantly or because I was in San Francisco, we were in San Francisco, but one of the finest city attorney's offices in the United States. And I know that because I've seen it up close and first hand, the quality, the talent of people that Dennis Herrera has assembled over the years. And prior to that, the prior deputy or city attorney in San Francisco, the work that obviously he's done locally and for multiple terms now in the assembly. You know, I can regale you. We don't need to go through his resume anymore, but you know, it is a big deal to go up against private prison industry. It's a big deal to go up against the bail industry. It's a big deal to stand firm and tall on behalf of immigrant rights and racial justice and economic justice. So, you know, you need someone with a backbone. You need someone that, you know, could disagree without being disagreeable. God, we need that. Someone who, again, is going to fight for the values that we hold dear in this state. And those values have been at risk. And we've needed the Attorney General. I had the privilege today, and I'll sum up, and we'll turn this over to Rob in a second, but privilege today to have a conversation with the EPA director for the Biden administration, talking about a myriad of lawsuits. And it was just a reminder. It was a wonderful sort of bookmark to the end of the day that I'm here with you, Rob. But at the beginning of the day to talk about those 100+ lawsuits that over the course of the last 4 years we've engaged in with the Trump administration. And not because we were on the offense. The vast majority of those were defensive, just standing tall and firm for our values. This is consequential. This office matters. It really does. I mean, across the spectrum. And so this, as I said, is a big moment. And Rob, you got big shoes to fill. We said that when we were together just a few weeks ago. I mean, the last Attorney General became HHS Secretary. One prior to that became the Vice President of the United States. The one prior to that ran for president on multiple occasions, was also a 4-term governor. And I can go back, and and Frank, you could argue that's the impressive but not as impressive group when you go back into the deeper history of who has held this office. What a remarkable, remarkable legacy of incredibly talented public servants that have been fierce advocates for the people of the state. And so, again, this is a proud moment, I know, for family and friends, but also for me as a Californian. And obviously, on behalf of the API community, I think this is a significant moment as well, particularly at this moment in our history, a moment very familiar to members of the API community because it's a moment that's been marked by many moments of hate and discrimination that go back to the beginning of the founding of this state. So that work remains constant. It is not situational. We have to sustainably attack those issues at the root, and I don't imagine a better person prepared to do that than the next Attorney General of the state of California. So with that, why don't we get moving? Get me off the damn stage and bring your AG up. But first, I have one responsibility. It's the last time he ever has to repeat after me. It may literally be the last time he ever repeats after me. I'll ask Rob to come on up, and we'll administer this oath of office. You're going to stand there? Should I put my mask on? Yeah. I should know better. All right, Rob, let's see if I remember this. If I don't, you've got the Constitution. We can open it up and remind me of the details of the oath. It's nice to see you. I'll say aye and just ask you to state your name, and we'll go from there.
I, Rob Bonta,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same,
to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
And during such time as I hold the office
And during such time as I hold the office
of Attorney General
of Attorney General
of the State of California.
for the State of California.
Congratulations, Mr. Attorney General. Well done. Well done. I'm now off the stage.
Well, let me start by saying thank you, Governor Newsom, for the faith and trust that you placed in me. This, as you've talked about, such a important and meaningful position. This is an honor and a privilege of a lifetime. So thank you for your confidence in me. It means the world. I deeply appreciate it, and I'll make you proud. I want to say thank you to my family, who is here. My wife, Mia, my partner in life, my partner in service, Mia Bonta. My children, Reina and Ileana and Andres. I know that this is a very important position, the Attorney General position, but the most important job I'll ever have is husband and dad. I want to say thank you to my mother-in-law, Enid, my older sister, Lisa, my younger brother, Marcelo, my cousins, the Trajanos, who are here, and my parents are here, Warren and Cynthia, and that's where my story starts. My parents are activists to the core. They're fierce forces for fairness, and their fight for justice has been hardwired into who I am. They've been at the forefront of powerful social justice movements in Selma, marching for voting rights and civil rights, advocating for democracy in the Philippines, standing with Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta and Philip Vera Cruz and the farm workers. And they taught me that an injustice against one is an injustice against all. And that when something is not right, when someone is being cheated, being treated unfairly, being hurt, then it's time to fight. And that's why I became an attorney, to do as much good as possible, to help as many people as I could. And that's why I'm so excited to get to work. There are a lot of challenges facing us throughout this nation. I know that. I'm clear-eyed about that. I know that people too often feel that institutions help the rich and the powerful at the expense of everybody else. We see hate on the rise, and Californians who are being hurt because of who they are. And too often justice and accountability feels out of reach for those who've done harm to others. As your Attorney General, as the people's attorney, I will not back down when someone's being hurt. Together, we can get justice for families being cheated by multinational corporations. We can defend communities who are being ravaged by big polluters. We can repair our broken justice system, and we can attack the forces of hate and white supremacy. As Attorney General, these fights, your fights, will be my fights. You know, as the governor referenced and we witnessed, we've seen the rise of hate violence against the API community throughout this nation. And as I've seen that, as we've seen that, as we experienced that sort of collective pain together, I've been thinking about a picture that hangs in my office. It's been there since day one. Those of you who work for me, you've seen it. You know how important it is to me. And it shows a hotel lobby from 1920s Stockton, and a sign in that lobby that says, positively, no Filipinos allowed. And throughout our history, so many of us have felt the sting of hate and intolerance. I felt it. I know many of you have felt it too. So many of us have been attacked or targeted because of who we are, where we're from, or who we love. But that hate hasn't defined who we are or what we can achieve. In spite of hate, we've become the most diverse state in the nation and the most vibrant democracy in the world. That 1920s sign may have said positively no Filipinos allowed, but today in California, every one of us, each one of us, isn't just allowed, we belong. Because in California, we look out for each other. And as your Attorney General, I'll look out for each of you. So thank you again, Governor Newsom, and the people of the great state of California. I'll do my best to make you proud. Thank you.
The only important last thing we have to do is sign the oath of office, because if I leave and forget that, there's a technical concern for us. Just one. We just have one? Perfect. I love it. All right. Sir, you're the only thing left between you and this position. There it is.